you build out a layout, you need to have at least 3 frames so that our bots can work with you. So we have our outer frame, and then within that we have our max width frame. So let's just adding a child here. So you can see I can drop all these embeddable components onto the page. In this case, I can also drop new frames. So I'm going to drop a child frame that drops it inside this one. That's as opposed to a parent frame, which drops it to the outside. It starts a new frame. I can just minus this, I can just delete this at any time when I want to. So I'm just going to click delete there and keep nice and clean. So we've got a frame for our outer padding. We're going to turn this one into our max width, and inside this we're going to have another child for our inner padding. So let's go and set this up now. So on the pencil icon, I'm going to come to frame because we're going to set up our frame, and I'm going to apply padding to the outside. So I can put 64 and 64, or I can close them all here, hold the Alt on a PC or Option key on a Mac and click one side, and it will put the padding around all sides for me. Okay, shortcut, that's Option on a Mac, Alt on a PC, all sides of a frame. Now on the next frame in here, I'm going to apply our max width. As we learned in the essentials, ever in doubt, desktop 1440. Our desktop users, it will be a max of 1440 on a desktop. So if their screen is 1920 pixels wide, it will be a max width of 1440. Okay, so now we have our inner padding, which our inner padding is what we call a block. So we color our block in. This is only a CMS backend setting that we see and our future users see. What we want them to know is when the color is bold, that's padding. So our bold mustard is for our outer padding, and our bold blue is for our inner padding. Keeps it nice and easy. So inside the inner padding, we have our child frame where we put our component. So you can see here, we have a light mustard, which is the max width, and then we have a light blue, which is for the component. Well, I'll just put in our padding here. So I'm just going to put 32. I'm going to hold I'm going to hold Option on my Mac here, Alt on a PC, to apply this padding to all 4 sides at once. So that's a shortcut there. Hold Option or Alt and it applies for all 4 sides at once. So this is lovely now. This is a classic setup we have. We have our outer padding, inner padding, our max width, and then our light blue frame for our component. So let's put a component in here. Here we use the plus icon to drop in a component. I can add all types of component, text, images, buttons, widgets, even forms, menus. So all of these things you will have seen in initial episodes. Here I'll just drop in a text. So what I'll do now, I'll just explain why we use a frame for our child components. What we often see is people dropping in like a text and then a button and not putting them in a frame. This is not good practice. It might be good for that immediate requirement, but what we're always thinking about, and this is the lesson and the narrative for this intermediate class, is we're always thinking about our future content editors in the future. We're not designing for ourselves right now. We're designing for everyone in the future so that they never mess it up. So let me explain. Here I'll put in another child frame. So if I can click the child here, it drops it at the top. I'll remove this frame by hitting the minus, okay? Because now I'm going to show you another shortcut, which is, again, if I hold the Alt on a PC, Option on a Mac, it's going to drop at the bottom. So I'm going to hold Alt or Option and hit the frame, and it drops it at the bottom. Nice. So now I'll just put in a button component here so that you can see that. So this is the beauty now. I can move this up and down, which is such an easy way for our content editors in the future to move things up and down. We want them to have some controls like this. And now they could put in padding, which is another function that we're about to look at. So here they can apply that also within the frame. So this is what we call divs in front-end development. Mobile, we call them frames. This is because we can apply properties inside that div, inside that frame. So we're looking pretty good here. What I'm going to do is just delete these components. Another great reason why we put things in frames, nice and easy to delete. And we're going to add a column. So I don't need this inner padding right now. So I'm also going to use the delete function here to delete that. Now that's gone. And now I'm going to show you the third icon along, which is columns. In this case, I'll start with the 2-column layout. You can see here, these are all evens. And these are actually 2 columns by fractions, and these are 3 columns by fractions. Okay, we're just going to start with a straight 2. And you can see here, it's automatically added our inner blocks. Okay, so we've got 2 columns, and it's automatically put the inner padding into this block, and then it's got a child component ready for us to go. Well, that's pretty nice. Okay, so now in here, I could go and actually add my components in as I would like. Okay, pretty basic stuff there. But watch what happens in here. I can go back to my column, and I can now just turn this to any of these. In this case, we're going to build out a 3-column, aren't we? So I'm just going to select 3-column, and it changes it for us.